An aircraft that didn't just go on to be powered by an engine of British design, but which also stemmed from a British requirement for new fighter aeroplanes. Purchasing Commission, established in New York during the early part of World War II, was on the lookout for fighter designs to potentially equip the RAF at a time when British manufacturers were hard pressed. The Curtiss P-40 Hawk family seemed like a good option, but on visiting North American Aviation, which was already producing Harvard trainers for the RAF, North American, which had never built a production fighter before, thought it could come up with something superior. So the design called the NA-73 was the result. In a recent edition of Fly Past magazine, they listed what they considered to be the top 15 Allied fighters of the Second World War. In at 3, the Hurricane. In at 2, the Spitfire. Top of the pile, this aircraft, P-51D Mustang. One of the things the Mustang really managed to do was to marry two very important aspects, one being an amazing fighter aircraft, but coupling that with range. Quite a rare thing to do. To go a long way, you tend to need perhaps 2 engines, heavier aircraft, bigger fuel tanks, which generally didn't make the aircraft as manoeuvrable or as effective as a fighter. Spitfire, rightly recognised as one of the finest dogfighters of all time, but had very short legs. Originally designed as a point interceptor, so it wasn't particularly suited to escorting bombers into Europe, into Germany, which is of course where this aircraft exceeded. The early P-51 marks were powered by the Allison V1710 engine. Those aircraft have tended to be rather unfairly dismissed over the years because they didn't have the sort of high altitude fighter capability and the long range fighter capability that the later Merlin engined examples had. In fact, the Allison engine Mustangs were outstanding combat aircraft in their own right. Immediately, its outright performance was transformed. We've had this aircraft at Cosford several times over the years. When it was Old Crow, that used to be the name it carried with the Scandinavian Historic Flight, founded by the